Hello, hello, sexy people and space truckers. Welcome to a very special episode of TOMTalks. I'm your host, Heath Parker, the voice of Hestia Hylaxia. I introduced myself that particular way today because we got the whole cast together. The cast of Live and Let Fly, that is, where we're playing through Paizo's Live Free or Die Starfinder Adventure Path. Today we're
Fly Free or Die.
Nope, you're Fly Free or Die. Whatever. It's our show's what it's called now.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be wrapping up the gift that was book 2 of this adventure path, Merchants of the Void, written by our good friend Leo Glass.
It's pronounced Gift.
Stop it.
It's a gift.
Apparently.
How hard can we derail Heath's
Yep,
intro?
I knew I wouldn't get through it. It's okay.
This doesn't bode well for the rest of the ep, but go on.
It's fine. I'm going to let you guys just get wrapped up in it. But before we start wrapping up the book of this adventure that really is just a brutal poverty simulator, how's everybody doing?
I'm poor.
Great. I feel like I should mention what TOMTalks is, because there are people who have not listened to APA.
That's true.
That's correct.
There's definitely people on this feed. This would be the first TOMTalks that they heard.
Yes. So TOMTalks is our talkback show, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. Where we talk about what's going on in either the game that we're playing or maybe something to do with TTRPGs in general or something of the sort. Different from STFU.
Well, that's a more like
it's like an interview with industry professionals.
It's a more structured interview.
Yeah,
kind of formal interview.
So that's what TOMTalks is. I think that the moniker may be confusing, but it's a holdover.
Well, no, because this started while we were still Southern Tomfoolery,
right?
And your little voice intro that I've since stopped putting on episodes.
Yeah,
Southern Tomfoolery presents.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
They've
You're
heard that at least 12, 15 times.
Anyway, I wanted to mention that at the outset. You are here on the Live and Let Fly podcast, but today we're doing a very special TOMTalks. So sorry to interrupt, Heath, but I just wanted to make that disclaimer.
Yeah, it's fine. You guys ruin it every time that we have a full cast on, so I'm pretty used to it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's why we give these out for free.
Yeah, right.
We can't charge you for this shit.
For the better TOMTalks, without the whole cast, you got to be on our Patreon for that. So
it's basically a full episode of banter. So I think everybody's in for a treat if they haven't listened.
If this is your first TOMTalks,
yeah, that's your first TOMTalks. Welcome aboard. Yeah.
Bust open a brewski or
our business model is you've got to pay more money for less people. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, so we are here today, dearly beloved, because we finished book 2. Congratulations. Or rather, congrations. You did it. Of the Adventure Path.
Nice.
I wasn't sure if we were talking already misnamed. Yeah, book 2 of Brandon Sanderson's epic fantasy series that has nothing to do with our podcast.
Oh, I just got my new Brandon Sanderson book in the mail.
Congrations.
Sorry. Go on.
No, tell us about it.
I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you. I just got it in the mail.
It's got some words in it.
Yep.
It's probably got some complicated names in there, I'm sure.
Probably. That's what I'm planning on. So anyways, Live and Let Fly, what? Okay, sorry.
Yes, that is the podcast that we all do together.
We finished book 2. It was a long book.
It was.
It's a very long book.
So where did book 2 actually start, though? What was the very beginning of it? Because
it's funny.
It's been a minute.
It's funny because I messaged Zach earlier today and was like, "So where did book 1 end?" He's like, "Fuck, I don't know."
I know John messaged me earlier today too. So what was the first episode of
season 2?
Season 2.
Dude, I was like, I don't have spreadsheets for any of this shit.
I had to dig into it.
You
and do the
motherfuckers
research.
do have access to the spreadsheet. But it's okay. Adam, calm down. It's totally fine. Not everybody needs to use your spreadsheets. It's okay. All right, just kidding. Episode 23, guys, is the start of
book 2.
Of book 2. And that's when we arrived on the dock.
87.
87,
Yes.
indeed, yes. And like to hunt for the Blackhearts. So the Blackheart arc was the opening to Merchants of the Void.
That was so long ago, man.
That
It
episode
really
released
was.
in May of 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
Over a year ago.
You got-
Yeah.
those are
Almost a
different
year and a
people.
half.
Those are
Yeah,
different
almost
people.
a year and a half. Yeah.
You guys
What did
remember
we
a year
do
and a
that
half
one?
ago?
No.
So yeah, I think the book 2 though was a formative book for the crew of the Independence.
Totally. I mean, that was like the main through line, I guess.
Listen, nothing
That tied a lot of the like kind of random different jobs together.
nothing brings people together like being financially struggling in the same boat. So, and that's what we were doing. So, we did it. Congratulations. We got paid.
Finally,
Yeah, it took
Finally
a
got
year
paid.
and a half.
Yeah, what's
paid.
up with that?
I really loved when we were doing the final episode listen along and everybody was hearing our ACs and like it was just like comment after comment. Why are their ACs so low? Zach, give them some more armor.
Like, we don't have any money.
And the baddies don't have good enough armor for us to pick up and use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The economy in this game is dog shit, and you know it.
I think
Yeah.
we just all roll up to the CSV's house and be like, money, please. Like,
please.
just has to join D9 instead.
yeah.
Yeah,
let's
like,
just,
you know what?
Seems like you're getting paid, dude.
Yeah,
Hook
yeah.
us up.
And we're doing D9 type stuff
Yeah.
by the end of it.
Look,
you know?
we will keep our mouths shut if you fully gear us up for one level higher than we
Yep.
are currently.
yeah.
And we'll ride that for 6 levels.
Yep.
Bold.
No.
That's real bold.
No, that's not a good trade.
Not a good trade. But in this
I do not
economy,
agree
Not,
to
the
this.
second part's not part of the deal. It's just what'll happen because we never make any money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, the poverty, which is an absolute fact of this adventure aside, like it really does force us to lean on each other. Like in the narrative of the game, like all we have is each other. You know, like the struggle is so real that it forces us to bond. And that first book, you know, like we're just trying to get to know who each person is and what their character is. And now that we're past that, I say now, like in book 2, once we're past that, we're still struggling a lot together, especially after having left our job, you know? So
Yeah, for me, like, yeah, book 1 was like Roland was just trying to do everything by the book. And book 2 is like us writing the book, you know, like we got rid of Edge Corp's bullshit book and started our own thing and so we're forming
Hookers
whatever
and
that thing
blackjack.
is, you know, like we're just trash haulers that happen to track down old presumed terrorist. It's, you know, just a day's work.
Just
Tale
a
as
humble
old as
story at
time.
the end, you know?
Yeah.
Real modest.
So I did some math earlier when I was trying to figure out, or once I did figure out where the book ended, right? So book 1 was 22 episodes, and then so we finished book 2 at 58. That's 36 episodes. So if you extrapolate and continue that pattern of 14 more episodes for every single book, which I know won't happen, but it's fun to do,
but it's fun.
we'll finish this adventure in 342 episodes.
That's
If that
seems-
pattern
It's not gonna
consists.
happen. I mean, it's
No,
No.
because like APA is at the 9th book, and we're at like
Yeah.
230 episodes.
yeah. You can't keep compounding 14 more episodes on top of the last one.
I mean, you can, but I would not recommend it.
This book also had 4 parts in it.
Yeah, this
Which is
was an exceptionally
unusual.
long Starfinder book.
Yeah. So, you know, I think book 3 is going to be shorter, actually. I don't see how it can't be, you know?
By being longer.
It's 5 books.
Good point.
5 books for 1 book is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually
a
the
really
long.
great
You
deal.
should never quit playing Live and Let Fly because it just never ends.
The adventure that never ends.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. It is weird that it's 4 parts. And because of that, a lot happens. Like, I think it was kind of tough. Like, I don't know. I didn't like give Zach shit or anything whenever I messaged him. I was like, when did this thing end? Because I'm thinking in my mind, like, how long have we been in this book? Like, so many different things have happened.
Right.
In that stretch of the 36 episodes. It's a good bit of stuff. I mean, we ended book 1 fighting Deminda, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and then we take off on a new adventure.
Lord St. John's number 2, I guess.
Right.
Former number 2.
Yeah. And so, I mean, God, what all has happened? I mean, we took off to the...
So here's all the arcs in a row.
Okay.
So we did the Black Hearts arc. Then we did, and we can talk about each of these individually, I guess. But after that, we did the Defrex.
Herd. Yep. The herding. Yep.
Yep. And then we did...
Agavana's investigation.
Well, before that, we did the Fool's Fortune, which was like the ghost ship.
Yeah, the ghost ship.
Mm-hmm. And then we did, Agavana, which took us to like the Dye Works and Sonic Future, like the record store and all that, and like found out who Agavana actually was. Then we left there, went and did some storm running, and ended up in Con 93. So that's like the broad strokes of book 2.
Yeah. There was another side job that you did. The first one that you did for Scarlett Niz and the Moonlighters was
the medical
the Scree
stuff. Yeah, that were Scree. Yeah,
Scree sires and Screelings. Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about the Blackhearts arc first, and that's like just to give you guys a reminder. That's the docking bay. That was the undead dance club. That's also where we met the goblins. And then that's where Morgan got their, what is it called?
Super cool augmentation that didn't cause any problems whatsoever.
The necrograft.
The necrograft, right.
That's right.
And then like once we got everything and got in we did a race. Though that ended with a race with the Wintermore crew.
Right.
Yes, it did.
Duct tape a goblin. Race. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we landed and delivered the medicine to a whole colony of dying.
Yeah,
HT creeps.
Yeah. With the
Skittermander
nurse smoking the smoking the cigar or whatever, or the cigarette.
Man, I forgot about that. I'm sure that'll never come back into play. Right? Never? She didn't seem like
I don't know. It seemed like so just like, well, yeah, this is what's happening here. Thanks for the Blackheart. See you later. You know, like the there was a Skittermander surgeon there, right?
Yeah.
And like, no, okay, we're good. Thanks. See you. You know, and like it just felt kind of like, all right, well, I guess that job's done. Did we miss something there, Zach?
You didn't miss anything there. I think that's one of those, like, this is the life of a delivery person. You may be transporting something critically important, but you don't necessarily get the conclusion of that. Like, you know, to me, it's like Death Stranding, where it's like you get a package that you have to deliver on a mission. And it's like a critical life-saving medicine or medical equipment or something like that. And then you can drop it off, and it's like, okay, well, we'll see you. And that's the end of it. You don't find out what happens.
So like
hope it works out.
That is one of the things that I had to really, and am still, you know, not so much now because we're sort of shifting a little, but like especially initially, is that we're not, as we say this a lot, but we're not heroes in this campaign. Like we're supposed to be delivery people. That's
Right.
just what we do. And
It's
it's
outside
hard
of
to
our
get out of
periphery
that.
to know what happens to them after the fact.
It's
Well,
hard
I
to get
feel
out of
like
that
we got
mindset.
a little like not shade, but like criticism as a crew for like not investigating like the Black Hearts and like where they came from and like, but that goes to your point is that we're just the delivery folks.
Yeah.
You're just there to do a job.
Yeah,
Just there to
I
do a
didn't
job.
really consider that to be an option because, and sure, of course it is, right? But as someone on a delivery crew, hey, we've got this delivery. All right, cool. Where are we taking it? You know, like
Right.
that's
Yeah, asking questions is going to get us in trouble. you
Right.
know?
It's not like a
Or-
fucking Amazon worker is sorting through our trash trying to find intrigue, you know?
Yeah.
And there-
or they're
yeah,
going to
and
pass
there's-
us up for the job.
Yeah, there's no impetus for us to try to figure that out. We were focused on how do we get the goods and this engine that we need to make this delivery.
We got personal
you know?
problems right now.
So let me tell you a little bit about that. And Leo mentioned this in the thread when we did the listen along. But you know, I think probably the overwhelming majority of people who listen to the show were not in that listen along, right?
Right.
So, and I'm gonna get some details wrong probably because it's been a while since I've read this section. But essentially, this cruise liner, like a spaceship cruise ship, essentially. That was docked at Docking Bay 87. I believe that there was some flavor text that mentioned it. It crashed, or wrecked, or exploded, or something. I can't remember what exactly happened, but everybody on board died, and then those bodies were then sent to Reigen Vool, who harvested them to create the Black Hearts. And then it's like you can go into Reigen's computer, I think, and find out that there was a conspiracy to sabotage the engines in order to fuck the ship
no
up.
fucking way.
In order to get the bodies. And the engine that was sabotaged is the one that ended up in the Goblin's heap
Wow.
that had the malfunctioning like storm elemental or whatever it was that popped out of it.
Okay.
So all of that is connected, but like, yeah, as you said, if you're not thinking like an adventurer, you're thinking like a delivery person.
Yeah.
It's
like
I don't know how you get there. Is the
Well,
thing? I don't know how you get there.
I wonder sometimes, like, if we leaned into that like too hard, because like, but I don't actually think so, because I think it's yielded a really cool take on this adventure as far as the crew and how they developed. But like, just from like a meta and like gaming standpoint, it's like, should we have remembered that we were still in an adventure and that you can like do these things, or were we?
I don't think so. I think that we handled it because that's the thing, right? Yes,
I
it's
think
an
we handled it
adventure.
realistically as delivery folks, for sure. Like
it is a role-playing game,
Yeah.
and we were playing the role of
Yeah.
a delivery crew.
yeah, but it's also a role-playing game.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like, which I don't think there's a right way or wrong way to do it. So that's not what I'm trying to like articulate here. It's more just like all that stuff was written in the adventure, but we like had no even inkling that there was something to uncover, because we were so much more invested in the like, we're the broke blue collar.
Yeah, that was your first job. That was your first job as an independent company, essentially. So, yeah. And for what it's worth, I think it's fine. I didn't have any problem with it. And for me, it's like a thread that you don't tug on means that there's a thread in the future that you won't tug on that goes nowhere. And y'all like to do that sometimes, with that Feychild gnome in the bar on the Drow planet, chasing after. And I'm just like trying to get that motherfucker just off of the map because they don't mean shit, and it's like you're running out the back door for trying to get this out.
But we really, really need to grill this.
Yeah.
Fucking Roland just booked it. Going
There's
straight after.
nothing in the dialogue.
Like pulling out the cigar cutters. All right, let me see your finger, Gnome. You're going to tell us what we want to know.
Yeah.
Surely knows
Literally
something.
have
Look
no
how fast he
information.
booked it.
It is interesting to me, like whether we've leaned in too hard to it, or, to the vibe or not. Like somebody mentioned earlier, like that'll get us in trouble. Like that's what feels so different about this adventure is coming from that we're under the thumb, we're kind of nobodies. Like it's an adventure where it feels like we can get in trouble. Like we can cause
There are
bigger problems for
consequences.
ourselves. So they named the first book "We're No Heroes," so I can't
Right.
really blame us for leaning into that. But also, like, it feels like that. It feels like we're not doing, even when we do something that's good by our standards, it still doesn't feel heroic a lot of the time. It's like, hey, we had to make a call.
It's
And
pragmatic.
maybe we didn't
Yeah.
like the call
Yeah.
that we made, but
Pragmatic.
like we have to survive. And that's one thing that I think, whether it's the adventure expressing it well or you interpreting the adventure well and expressing it to us, that is, I think all of us feel that oppression, or that lack of opportunity. So inherently, to the point that it makes us mad for sure, but also like it does significantly change the vibe. Like this adventure feels so much different than any adventure I've ever played in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because like I don't have the confidence that I would normally have. Not that I'm lacking confidence. I'm trying to boo-hoo, but like I don't feel like my character can just go into a situation and be like, I'm Dirty Harry over here, and what
Balls out
what
on the
I say
table and just
goes.
say, "Fuck off."
Right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no, like we could seriously step into some bullshit and make things worse for ourselves. And I think some of that is also part of the way we've put together our crew's dynamic. And there's, a mix of everybody sort of like still to this point, to the point we're at now, trying to figure out what are we and what is our relationship. We know we trust each other now, but we don't have a clear identity other than that we're in this together, and that now we're independent of a corporation. So it's like we're still learning that, whatever it is we're gonna be.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's super interesting to me as a GM to watch the evolution of the crew, and see how you all come together as a crew. To me, that's super enjoyable.
I'm very curious about the future, just from our perspectives, being that we have entrenched ourselves so much in this sort of blue collar. Let's kind of tiptoe through these situations and not make too hasty a decision. I am curious because like this is a 6-book AP. Like we're gonna get strong, like mechanically strong, And I'm curious at what point will be that tipping point where it's like, no, you know what? Book 1 was right when we were in book 1, but now we are heroes.
Right.
Like
I feel like the end of this was a big turning point for us as a crew. Like, I think we're going to be a lot more confident after just surviving an ordeal with the adamant scale and like defeating them. You know what I mean? And yes, like we got put in our place by the CSV, but nonetheless, we did infiltrate a
You
prison
still
and
rooted
took
out.
down a bunch of adamant scale vanguards. Like that's not nothing. We're not just delivery folks anymore. And there's no way to even convince ourselves of that. And that started when we initially took the job to go find Agavana. Like, we had that group discussion then, like we're making a decision to take on what it means to be like a mercenary at this point. Like we're not just delivery people anymore. There's no delivery being done here. We're going to find a person and like deal with a person, that's there was no cargo in that. And we were like still very hesitant during that.
Yeah.
It was like but like, I think at this point now, after what's happened now, like we have no choice but to like kind of stalwart up and like recognize that this shit's around us. There's still a bunch of people that are we have some major enemies. And if we keep pretending like we're just little guys, we're going to get squashed. Like, I think it's now about kind of turning it outwards and being like, no, man, nobody's going to fuck with us because we're tired of being fucked with,
Mm-hmm. I think
which would probably get us in trouble, but whatever.
Yeah. Book 2 is our trial by fire here, and book 3 is when we actually start putting guns on the ship, itself. So,
yeah, I there's certainly you're coming into a turn in the AP. I don't want to.
No, I mean, don't give anything
answers,
away.
Right?
Sure,
but yeah. But I do think it's interesting that you're noticing that shift.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we've grown, and I don't want to dispute that in any way. But I mean, now I can only speak for myself, but I still don't feel like a hero. Like, I feel like we've achieved more than we should have, and sometimes stumbled through that achievement, But like, I wouldn't go so far as to say, like, at least my character is like, yeah, we're big damn heroes now, Like,
part of it feels like you just fell upwards,
like,
partly.
Well, and part of that is that at the end of it, we did get kind of talked down to by Big Daddy CSV.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're like heroes. What I'm saying is that we are not just delivery folks anymore, and that we are soldiers. We are. I mean, like, we are involved.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like book 3 is just going to be like, we're not just delivery men. That's the
title of it. Yeah. Let me look. I think that is the title.
Right.
No, but I mean, my what brought this up was my curiosity. Like, I'm curious to see when we get to a point that we do fully. We're like, no, like, we're heroes now. Like, we have been through multiple trials by fire. We have made some calls and done some dangerous, harrowing things and gotten through it and, like, have earned that. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. Is that feeling of, like, we're growing right now, and I appreciate that. But when, like, that feeling of having gotten there, if we'll ever have it. I mean, based on this adventure so far, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't feel like the type of adventure that's going to end up resolving in some sort of, like, galactic mission that we have to save the universe.
Gotta save Eve.
Like, I think it's always going to be a personal thing all the way through to the end of this. That, like, it's really going to only matter to us and whoever we're dealing with. It's not saving a planet or stopping corruption or
some kind of existential threat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be like a full circle. We're going to go full circle. We're going to rise, and then we're going to go back to our meager. Something's going to happen, and we're just going to go back to bread sandwiches.
You think we're going to finish this adventure right back at square one?
Like delivering yarrow berries, my dude. No, not.
No, at level 13,
Bro,
I'm find something better to do.
If we get to level 13 and we're back to the squalor that we've gone through so far, I'm sorry. I'm in character quitting the game.
Starfinder is shit. Okay. Regardless of whether you're level 1 or level 13, you could be poor and be level 13. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I'll go get a new job, is what I'm telling you. That'll be my wrap up for the adventure. It's like, hey, it's been real. It's been fun. It hadn't been real fun, but I'm going to go and get a big girl job,
Well, listen, I think we kind of put the cart before the horse there in talking about what's coming next and without talking about...
Welcome to TOMTalks, everyone, where the questions are made up and the topics don't matter.
And Adam moves on to make Josh do, classic Josh and wanting to say something. But hey, that's fine. Roll on.
What do you want to say?
I was going to say, as far as like feeling like heroes, back to your point earlier, Zach, about Death Stranding and being a delivery person and it being kind of a thankless job. At least in that, you got emails saying, hey, this really helped. Or, hey, this literally saved my life, you delivering that medicine.
Yeah.
We get emails sometimes. Roland doesn't know how to read them.
You emailed your UPS guy to say, hey, bro, I really appreciate everything you did for me.
If I could,
Top
I would.
service.
No, okay.
She's
Five
so
star.
full of shit.
Thanks for the keyboard parts, bro. You really saved my life.
If anyone would, I think Josh would
probably
email his
actually would.
UPS guy.
Well, no, so here's the thing: if it got delivered to me on time and was like done properly, I am by far like one of the most likely people to try and rank or rate somebody highly for a job like that, because I know that shit matters.
You ever given your DoorDasher a good review?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't.
If I have customer support, I deal with say some big ass company like Dell customer support, and that person took care of me, or Best Buy or something like that. I absolutely go on there and leave them a positive review.
Yeah, I
and
fill
mention
out
them by
surveys.
name, because that's how those people get raises.
Yeah.
You fill out surveys.
Having worked those types of
That's
jobs,
good
you
on you.
fill out those surveys.
That's good on you.
I worked retail long enough to know.
Yep.
I know
sorry.
John doesn't give them Door Dashers any 5-star reviews.
Wait, what?
So hey, what's our Yelp review looking like right now? It's
Don't worry about it.
Like for the party or for the podcast?
Yes.
party. I don't want to know us.
They're both bad.
They're both bad.
Sorry,
You asked, I
sorry
guess.
to derail. What, Adam, you were saying something
Yeah, sorry
along the
for
lines
the
of cart
classic
before the horse.
Joshism, but
I mean, it's all good. I was just going to try to talk about book 2, which is what we're here to talk about. And in that growth that we did over the book. And, yeah, I don't have like a thing to say. I was just, trying to organically pivot back in, but that was completely torpedoed
You're
right
welcome.
out the gate. So now it feels
hey,
awkward.
It's what we
Adam,
do.
you're welcome.
I feel like you guys enjoyed the whole Revenant Urge episode.
Yeah.
That was
like
fun.
the Revenant Urge was a great episode.
That was the Eoxian Club, right?
Yep.
It was
Oh,
the
yeah,
Oxygen
yeah,
Club.
yeah.
It's where you
That was
met
cool.
the Wintermorn crew for the first. Where you met
That's
Dizzy
right.
for the
Yep.
first time.
That's right.
Sweet baby Dizzy.
Wee baby dizzy, wee babby.
It was fun. It
Babby.
was like I felt like that episode gave every character a little extra, like, notch of development. You know, like we learned something new about each character in that episode that was like kind of surprising. You know, and made some friends, made an enemy, kind of. Morgan and Roland cut it up on the dance floor, and
Yeah.
Dizzy and Hestia became good friends, and you guys ate burgers from his mouth, right?
No, that was
Vincent
the episode.
No, yeah, that later we were going to get more burgers, but I think it started at the Revenant Urge.
Oh,
Did
I don't
it?
remember that.
can't remember.
That was
I
I
don't think it
remember
did.
the-
May of 2022,
Yeah.
dude. Okay.
I thought Gadrick and Vincent got burgers together.
That,
Yeah,
okay,
And
no,
then
no,
we
that,
were,
that was
and then
at
took
the
to-go burgers.
that was at the
in
Black
the
Heart.
pouches.
That was
Yeah,
at the
at the
Black,
Black
Heart.
Heart place.
Yeah,
Waiting
we were
for his
waiting
operation.
on
Morgan's operation.
Yeah, Morgan's operation. Yeah. So.
Yep.
So what did you
That
guys do
whole-
at the Urge?
Oh, well, Josh
drank,
and I
we
talked.
danced.
Yeah.
We
You
talked.
did what?
We drank and danced.
Okay. Well, yeah. And that
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. It's what we did.
I did like that. I thought the whole first little arc was a lot of fun. I mean, the goblins were obviously a hit right off the bat. You know what I mean? We had a lot of fun doing the goblins. Zach, you did a great job bringing those to life.
Yeah, the gobos, man. Yeah.
Has your like vocal cords, have they, recouped yet? Are you good?
No, I mean, like I'm shot. Like I'm
Forever broken.
We'll never be able to do another Gobbo boy.
Yeah, they're wrecked.
That's why you stole them away from me.
Yep. You're welcome.
My
Dude,
sweet
at a certain
children.
point, it's literally just I don't want to have to keep track of 3 other NPCs all the fucking time.
Yeah,
But
because
there
you got to
were
develop their
babbies.
motivations, everything.
Yeah. To be fair, they're
But you
goblins. Their
literally had to
motivations are just
and
like
brought 'em
shiny.
back as in Com 93.
Had to.
Yeah, because I had to do that.
There would have been a
Right.
revolt, Adam. Would have been a riot.
I had to do that. No, it's just like having again. There's way too many opportunities to exploit shit when you've got 3
extra crazy
NPCs on
goblins.
demand. Yeah,
Yeah.
like nah, you could trivialize some shit that I wouldn't even foresee. and I don't want to know you if I don't have to. I just nip that problem in the bud.
That's the most Zach statement I've ever heard.
I don't want to know you if I don't have to.
Exact.
No. I don't want to tell you. I should say I don't want to have to tell you no.
I thought you meant
I know. I thought you meant like,
I was like, damn,
people,
that is
man.
hard.
Damn, bro.
I don't want to know you if I don't have to.
I was like, Zach's just saying the quiet part out loud right now.
Screaming that shit.
I don't feel that way. No. I was trying to think of an opposite of a yes and I was going to say no but I was like, I don't want to know you. I just said no.
No, this man said, if you're not one of my close personal friends, you can get fucked.
Get the fuck out of here.
You better find a reason for me to have to know you if you want to know me. You know,
Dude, no, in reality,
I've chosen a
probably have
podcast to
meet
make
more
this
people
revelation.
on a day-to-day basis than I don't know. I feel like probably most of y'all have to meet a bunch of random people. I feel like I have to do a lot of that.
In person?
definitely.
Yeah, in person, in real life, meet space, shaking hands. Hey, I'm Zach. How are you? What's your name? Oh, that's great. What do you do for a living? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to do that shit a lot.
Pass.
And so whether or not I want to know you is
neither here nor there.
There's some factors. There's some factors involved. And that's all I'm saying. It's not a blanket. I don't want to know anyone.
There are variables.
Anyway, my point is I don't want to tell you no if I don't have to.
Right.
And so just getting the goblins out of the way is that just saves me a
but
headache
it's a
down the
way.
road.
In a way, it's saying no by taking them
But
away.
it's like
Is the problem?
it's just like a quick Band-Aid no. It's like
Yeah.
one no to rule them all, you know?
Because, I mean, to be fair, we
an
would be the ones like,
impactful
well,
no,
of course
though.
the goblins could do that.
Yeah, they
you know?
could. Absolutely.
I mean, they helped us in the fight with the Skreelings, like, and kind of saved our bacon. So, you know, I can see wanting to remove them, but you know, I also thought that they were good as they were making up for the lack of equipment and armor that we had. You know?
Got to balance that shit
I
somehow.
thought that was the trade-off,
Yeah.
but turns
Did
out
me
that
not
was a
giving
lie.
you an extra level? Did that not help
get
any at all?
gear, but you get 3 goblins who are like all right at
We're all
combat.
right.
Oh man,
Seems like a fair trade.
I don't know, man. That extra level might have maybe +1 AC from it.
You got your character sheet pulled up right now?
I'm about to.
Uh-huh. We're doing a TOMTalks there.
Level 6 and EAC 16, KAC 17. Still wearing, where is my armor? What is it called?
Should be on you.
Yeah, well, should be. I don't
Freebooter?
inventory.
You have some freebooter armor on?
Yeah, freebooter armor 1. What level is that
Yeah.
armor? Level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For
a level 6
low-ass
character.
armor.
Well, you just hit level 6.
Okay, level
Yeah.
5 character. What about this pistol? Level
You
1.
should have, as written, you should have just hit level 5.
Okay. But yeah, level 1.
But to me,
pistol.
that felt cruel.
The level 4 knife is cool, but also it does less damage than the pistol at level 1.
Look at this choosy beggar
Listen.
over here.
Y'all are about to get level appropriate shit. Okay.
Yay.
All right.
Awesome.
right? Well, and that
I
was
wanted.
it was the whole theme of this book. That's what we
Yeah.
were saying.
Yeah.
That's what the story was
Yeah.
us being broke and without, and like, you know, Steve often talks about how it's like a cool idea for an adventure path, but like hard to do in the Starfinder rule set because Starfinder is designed for you to be powerful. And if you had level appropriate equipment, we'd be like walking.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Terminator.
Bank vaults,
That is
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
well, no, not even like our power level, like the value of the gear would totally
Make you unstoppable.
would totally strip away the illusion or the feeling of being broke and like chasing the next
Yeah.
dollar,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're walking around with, you know, 15,000
thousands
credits
of
on our
credits.
back, you know,
You
like
take it to the pawn shop and
get
you know,
150.
get a meal ticket.
150, yeah.
Best I can do.
But still, like, we were all like, we would all love 150 credits.
Yeah.
Throughout that book, throughout the book, we did a whole episode about celebrating 20 credits, like, and you can't do that. We can't feel the way that we did if we had level appropriate gear.
Yeah.
Despite all the mechanical complaints, like, that's the point of this book,
Mm-hmm.
and we got the hookup at the end. So we're going to be fine, but I don't think we would have had the true feelings of like frustration and desperation without that. So it was a good choice, Zach, as much shit as we're giving you.
I'm not giving you shit. I'm just complaining.
Well, yeah, that's shit.
No, it's not giving him shit. It's just general complaint. It's not directed at Zach.
The book obviously does not offer you that much loot. I mean, obviously, I could have thrown you extra loot. I enjoy doing that. So, historically speaking,
Right.
So it's not that like it was like, oh, I really want to give them loot, but fuck them. It was just that I'm making the active choice not to give them anything that isn't written as loot to be given, because that would undermine one of the major themes of the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the next job that we did was the medicine transport, and that's where that's where like Adam's frustrations with this book began, is that like that was the first time I felt like it didn't matter what we do. We're going to fail at any given job that we take, because even if we crossed all our T's and dotted all our I's, we're still fucked,
It's like we rolled a nat 20, but we still suffer negative consequences. Like, what the hell? Like,
and again, that's all part and parcel of the point of this particular part of the story. And like, I think, as I told Leo, he's like, man, you got really mad throughout a couple times. I was like, yeah, but like, you got to understand something about me is that like, I express my feelings like when I feel them. And like, being mad is a sign of a good piece of art because it elicited a response that I feel like was the intended response. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're supposed to be pissed at this.
Congratulations, you done it. You made me feel the feel.
Yeah, but I feel it, and I obviously exaggerate it some for the show, just to like kind of really project
bring some energy into it. Yeah,
right. And so like, but I was also like legitimately frustrated with it too, because I really wanted to like do a good job and like do one right and like have there be a good completion to it, and that and like like. In the end of the day, we still got some credits. We didn't get in trouble for it, but it was just like, it was the first time I came like really face to face with what this was going to be for the next little while. Yeah. It's like, oh, God damn, like.
It's torturous. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it's shit, everybody struggles in their day to day in real life. And then to go and play this escapism where you're just
it feels doubly cruel being actually poor and then playing poor. God,
for sure. Yeah, but obviously that's intentional, and I think that it succeeded at what it was trying to do, right?
Yeah,
and I think that it provided valuable growth for your characters along the way. And so
like all of those frustrations and all those angers did like create RP spaces for us to like bond in that, and it really did develop the crew in a very cool way throughout this book. Like there's lots of good RP moments that like this crew feels so very lived in, like APA, like those characters are like big and they have
they're
deep
larger
history,
than life,
right?
And like they've been developed through and through, right? Like 3 times over. But they always felt like people that you would like see from a distance.
Yeah.
You know, whereas all these characters feel like people I see every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in a lot of ways.
I think it's because of the tone of this book, like the purpose of this book is we experienced essentially in our role play real life issues and struggles. So it's like it makes the characters feel more lived in, more real, you know? So I mean, I appreciate it.
APA is like seeing somebody, seeing a story on the news, and this adventure's like your neighbor coming over to bum $10, you know, like, and you being good enough to give it to them. Like I find it very interesting, right? And I don't mean to like keep talking about book one, but like the title "We're No Heroes" is very evocative, but also it can be kind of loaded, and the way that you interpret that, I think, is going to dictate a lot of what your party's vibe is, right? So I feel like this whole party's response to the whole "We're No Heroes" thing is like, no, we're like good people for the most part, blue collar, kind of always in a shitty situation, but doing our best. And I feel like I'd be very interested if like, you know, there was a rewind do-over, if we just played this adventure as like, we're no heroes, yet we're the fucking bad guys. You know, we're going to be a gang. And how different it would be.
Very different. It's very different. First of all, you make a shitload more money.
I know. That's why it's so tempting. And I like
you make a
playing Hestia. I'm like, I feel more rewarded playing Hestia, like morally, than any character I've ever played. But not financially.
Yep.
And like, you know, it'd be interesting to just see the flip side. And just like, what if we all played just rapscallions? Just, we will rob you blind at the drop of a hat. And we'd be
it can go a lot
financially all right,
sure.
you know?
Yeah.
But we'd probably create so many problems for ourselves.
You know what I mean? Right.
I mean, aside, like, if you're playing characters that you, in your head, you're like, yes, they can live with themselves. It's like, okay, but what legal problems and what, you know, aggro problems do you create for yourself?
Hell, we've already done that when we were doing good.
Right.
We just can't win, is what it is. We'd be in the same situation.
I had to grapple with that, you know, like when I hit that realization that week you can't win, you know. What do you guys think, like, as far as the crew development? I mean, do you guys have some like favorite moments of the crew development, or just maybe some like broad like observations about where we were when we started and where our relationships are now?
Unfortunately, the poverty overshadows everything that's good in the world. No,
we can't afford memories here. Damn.
Yeah, right. We're too broke.
Don't have the RAM
to remember anything.
Yeah, dude. We're rocking with like 2 gigs of RAM here. Come on.
I remember when I last had a sandwich that had meat on it.
It was a while ago.
It's been a minute. I mean, like, you already brought it up one time, but like, I do think it's sort of a, if not a turning point, like a very sort of, in a way, like talismanic kind of episode where the crew get, you know, the It's Always Sunny title, the crew gets $20, you know, like, and the captain goes and like does nice things for everybody, and like within the means that are available to him, and it like means so much to everybody that you would go and do those things despite us all scraping by, you know, like that. To me, a lot of the time in adventures, like when, you know, because we've done things like this, and it's like, you know, what memories stick out to you? And invariably, other than just like combat moments I'm super, super duper proud of, selfishly, generally the moments that stick out are the kind of like, hey, we got a little free time and somebody does something like really thoughtful, really meaningful, you know? And Adam pulled that off pretty well with the like, hey, we got a little bit of money, I'm going to go get something just like from the heart for everybody.
Yeah. And establish some canon there too, you know?
Yeah. I also liked, this was a Roland thing, when Roland kind of lost his shit for a second and blew up on the crew. That, like, the ensuing conversations from that, I think, were really good moments for kind of all of us all the way around, because we got to, you know, state our piece essentially. and we were real with each other in the midst of struggling so much. And I think that made the "Hey, we got 20 books" episode much sweeter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
It was definitely like similar arcs in both those episodes where everybody kind of interacted with the captain, but it was very different tones, you know, very different tones. You know, and I will just say that I really liked Hestia's development via the goblins, and like
such a
how
sweet
how she came out as kind of motherly during those times, but
I even stayed home with the goblins.
yeah, and like playing the video games with them and everything. I
Right.
thought that was like very cool.
Oh, yeah,
and
Super Swarm 6
Yeah.
rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
I now that is a very minor thing, but I love the establishing of canonical like video games and entertainment things that has become a little thread. I've got a note sheet, by the way, of shit I want to procure that is canon, that is like in Starfinder, that like I want to pick up. Like there's all kinds of stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that.
It's your show, man.
No, it isn't. But I mean, thank you. I appreciate the love for Hestia. I really wanted to. I mean, from like the jump, I wanted Hestia to be motherly, but I didn't want her to be smotherly. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So getting to I think it was kind of a big decision for me to have a period in time where. At the time, the inner player was like, I'm abandoning the party. I was like, no, I'm going to have Hestia stay and not go and help you guys on this mission. And that felt shitty, but it also felt like the right thing to do. And through that, I got to express a lot with Hestia and with the goblins.
That was when they went to Reigen Vulls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I did not go to any of the
Right.
whole necrographed situation. Hestia
Yeah.
was like, I morally can't do this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have gone a lot differently as well.
listen, I think we've all made a bunch of really good choices when it came to
You did for sure.
just
As necrographs go.
really good decisions.
I was mad as Roland and as Adam when you like, yeah, we're just gonna do this. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
I mean, that's Morgan wants like they're into it. Okay, sure, why not?
It made the whole thing so much easier though.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
you're welcome.
Like
Like the amount of effort you would have had to put in to get those black hearts
otherwise,
any other way.
Look, helping
Yeah, it's
is
not even
helping.
comparable.
Helping is helping,
Yeah.
you know. That's what we
Well,
do.
I mean, and that decision then cascaded so much of the crew development, because that's what got Roland pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, was that you kept malfunctioning when we needed you the most. You know,
Story of my
It was
life,
like-
baby.
Well, that even
but like he overstepped and like overflexed his position. And, you know, that was definitely a humbling moment for Roland too, of like, okay, yeah, you're the captain, but you don't get to tell me what I do with me.
Yeah.
You know
bodily
what I mean?
autonomy is still
Yeah.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that actually, interestingly enough, that also Hestia got about as close as she can get to pissed, you know, and like had a talk with Morgan about that too, and was super respectful about it because like. Basically incapable of being legitimately mad, but like
Two cinnamon rolls going at it. Man.
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do?
but like
That's
kind
too
of,
much
but,
cinnamon.
but got to kind of cap off the sort of motherly segment with Hestia by being like, I'm worried about and disappointed in you, you know.
Vincent or John,
There you
played
go.
Vincent.
There you go.
You know, I know when you first started, you wanted Vincent to be the heel, and what Vincent has grown into now is like less a heel and more just like our tough guy. Mm-hmm. You know,
Kind of wore
how's
down the
that
rough
feeling?
edges there, because I mean, like, there's only so many like speeches from Roland that he can withstand before he gets kind of a little soft, you know. So, but I feel like my favorite memories for this particularly season 2 that I feel like has evolved is Roland and Morgan's interactions have been absolutely sweet, and are always a highlight for me to actually be able to like listen to. You know,
You shipping, bro? You shipping?
no. Actually, I'm not. But
Literally everybody else is. Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna be that person's like, no. I don't think so.
I'm on the won't they.
It's all around. Y'all just don't know.
I'm a won't they, not a will they.
Right. Tia is, of course, like just a fucking wholesome battery. Anytime.
You're a real AAA.
Like for real. Anytime, like, okay, well, I just need a little dose of wholesomeness. Well, thank you, Tia. Appreciate it.
D-cell, baby.
And I also love Gadrick's constantly updating his movie database.
Yes. Yes.
It's
I love
just
it. That's one of
parallel
the
to
canon
you,
things,
you know, with your show, Emily.
Like, it's so good.
I love how Gadrick is like. I feel like Gadrick is just such a real one, like through and through.
Yeah,
like through.
He's not trying to be
through,
anybody else.
No, it's like. And like it's always just like short. Like you are so good with your timing as Gadrick, Josh, that I'm like, how are you so bad as Josh? Because like it's so your timing.
Jinx.
Gadrick is like the timing with Gadrick. His like are always just like on point. Yeah.
I think Gadrick in particular. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Zach. But Gadrick in particular feels like we talked about these characters feeling lived in. Gadrick feels the most to me like somebody I fucking know.
I've worked
that's
with
what I was
Gadrick.
gonna say. I was like, I know Gadricks.
Yeah.
I know burnt out old, 47-year-old. Like I'm still working and I don't want to be, but I'm good at what I do. But just as good as I have to be, kind of guy.
I don't like the age number. I don't like the age you put on there. You need to tack a couple decades on there to make me feel better.
67.
Yes, in this economy, yes, he's still working at 67.
Doesn't want to be.
He has
But
enough
here I am.
experiences for a 67-year-old.
Yeah.
I really like Gadrick a lot. It's definitely my favorite character that you've played. Like
I've really enjoyed playing him. He's just been, it's like he said, it's been fun to be just kind of like blunt and
Look,
realistic about.
You come for the mustache, but you stay for the realization that it's actually your dad's friend Jim.
Yes. Yes. Who actually
Zach,
has some decent advice every once in a while, and also a kick-ass mustache.
yeah. So for you're the GM trying to hold this whole story together, and
Just
as
barely,
much
dude.
as much as
Just
we're
barely.
trying to rip it apart, I'm curious of your perspective on the crew, and like, have we gone the way that you thought we were going to go, or are we like way off of where you thought we were going to be?
How disappointed are you?
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed at all. I'm not
Scale
disappointed at
of
all. I'm
1
really
to
not.
10.
I love the characters, right? Like I really do like this crew a lot and want to see them succeed. It hurts me when I have to withhold your payment so that you are stuck in level 1 armor, because I want you all to be badasses and get to flex and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to keep the characters grounded in the reality of their circumstances, and so there's a balancing act there. I like all the characters. I really, really do. It's always fun getting to give you like an RP episode on the ship where I can just like hang back and like watch these little vignettes unfold, and like I'm not stressed out about, okay, we got to get to this section, we got to
Right.
It's that those episodes are a lot of fun to me. I will continue to provide them because I just enjoy.
Well, that's just what we do,
I just enjoy
That's
them.
what we do.
Yeah. I will say that I think all the characters developed in a way that I guess I sort of expected them to. I didn't expect them to be as sentimental as they have all become. my biggest the biggest like crow eating moment, foot and mouth type thing was when we first were conceptualizing these characters before we ever started Live and Let Fly. I was very much against Heath playing a Sharon. I did not want Tia to be a Sharon because I was like, fucking Sharon, man, you know.
Fortunately, I am
but like
obstinate.
why? I don't really. I'm not really tracking. Like why not Sheeran?
He doesn't like the weird
Because
aliens.
he viewed them as a monolith. They're all weird bug people.
Just weird bug people, man. But
They're actually the best of us, Zach.
I know they truly are, and Tia is among those. And again, Tia is a sweet little cinnamon roll.
Well, I got to
And
give
I
mad
adore
props to
her.
Hylax for that. You know, like I had a goal of playing a religious character. You know, like I hadn't really done that much in my tenure as a TTRPG player, and I was like, no, like I really want to lean in and be somebody who their faith is important to them. And you know, I love reading lore, and when I got to Hylax, I was like, I feel like there's a lot of people that would feel like this deity is very vanilla, aside from the fact that it's a bug deity. But it is just like the most good with a capital G god in all of Starfinder. You know, like there's lots of good or lawful deities that like have interesting little quirks, and they're like hyper focused on this one or two things, and that can be an Achilles heel for them. Or their followers. And Hylax, I was just like, no, like it's just all good. Like treat people with kindness, be diplomatic in your approaches, you know, like give people a chance. And I was like, this is the wholesomeness was the point the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
And like that was an intentional exercise for me because that's not who I am. You know? I was like, I wanted to act
really
my
came
way
around
into
to Tia.
feeling better about it.
If I'm disappointed about anything, or I wish things would have gone differently with something, it's that we still don't have like definitive, clear answers about Morgan and their sister, you know, who is Eline Rysora, essentially. We don't have that on the table. That's, you know, Roland came up and shut that down.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Well,
you know,
I all I did was make sure that it was Morgan's choice.
and I think it was the right call. And I was like, damn, that was really thoughtful when it happened in the moment. But then I'm like, damn, I had planned for this to be a backstory reveal, you know. So we'll get to that in due time. It's. You will not be able to avoid it forever.
Right.
It's going to come up. I promise you that.
Well, don't you think that'll make it even more hit harder? Like,
yeah, I mean, maybe so. Maybe.
That's
knowing
where
that
my
it's
mind
something
was.
that they wanted to keep quiet, and so when it does come out, it'll be us knowing that will make it even more
everyone
dramatic.
knows that secrets in storytelling are bad, and delayed gratification just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're not into literary edging, my dude? Like, what?
Yeah, I guess Emily, we've got to scrap our plans.
All right, I'm going to head out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I did not expect Gadrick to end up being as fun. Maybe I should have, because he was funny in the interview or whatever, right? I hope that we can find more time for developing Vincent and his history with Sinjin and all that kind of stuff like that. I mean, there's spaces for that, and then there's, you know, I could try to shoehorn something in, but I don't want to.
Well, book one had a pretty good chunk of that.
Yeah, you did get a good bit of it, right?
It's just that, like, then that happened, and then for a year and a half, we've been doing other shit.
You've been in the Veskarium.
Yeah.
You've been in the Veskarium,
put Vincent a lot in the kind of like on the back burner.
Yeah.
But like Vincent's
been having adventures now. You know?
Yeah, Vincent's been developing as like, all right, I can have fun with this crew. That's been like the work that Vincent.
Learning to trust again.
Yeah,
right. Because obviously, you know,
I feel that Vincent is very present minded. He doesn't try to stay in the past or anything, and this has fueled him with a lot of interest as far as like where this fucking crew is going to go. I mean, this is stuff he wouldn't be doing anywhere else, where he would just be jumping off to another fucking job somewhere else doing whatever.
How do you think Vincent and Roland's relationship is now?
Compared
to the very contentious start that it had.
Now, he's definitely feels that you've earned your that you deserve respect. For sure, 100%. I mean, at first he had you pegged as just straight by the book corporate, and that you were just trying to get promoted so you could move on to bigger, better stuff, you know. But now, I feel like, or rather, he feels like you're definitely somebody that sticks to your crew, and that you're somebody that actually tries to get to know the motivations of your crew, you know? And so that's somebody that's not just all the time that you encounter, you know? I think
Serious follow-up question.
Yeah.
How has Vincent's cooking improved?
I was going to ask, I'm curious to learn if Vincent, once we have money, is actually any good at cooking. Because it's just been toast sandwiches.
We don't actually know.
I don't believe you're actually a good cook.
You don't fucking know. All right?
I know the difference between a stove and an oven, so like I'm holding my breath a little bit.
It could be cinnamon on salmon, as Heath would know.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but it shouldn't be your signature. You know?
Just a little bit of clarification. This isn't me. This was a work buddy of. Oh
no, you have to listen to our content to understand that.
Fucking Pat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just a tip. Look, as someone who does cook, don't just douse your salmon in cinnamon. I'll just say that.
Just a heads up. Yeah. A little freebie there.
Right. Just a little tip.
Well, I think the jury's still out on whether Vincent is a good cook, but we will. I am too eager to see, Heath, if that's going to be the case.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be an experience.
And I'm also looking forward to seeing how it is like a week later out of Gadrick's cheek pouch.
It's rarely good if you're like going to somewhere to eat and your way of convincing people is like, it's going to be an experience, you know? If you're not saying anything about the taste of the food, like, okay, this might be a flop.
The atmosphere.
It's going to be a journey of the senses, all right?
Okay, so I'm going to drink at this dinner is what's going to happen.
It's good to have a plan, you know?
Well, God, there's so much in this book. The next thing that we did was the Defrix.
Yeah, I was waiting to get to that. I was thinking about that. You know, I hate to break the immersion. We took a little bathroom break, but I was thinking about the Defrix thing, and that was like such a unique vibe to like everything else we've done. We went and just were like cattle ranchers for a day or two. Which was a blast. Like, I loved it and just leaned in heavy, you know, like in my mind, Hestia still to this day wearing a cowboy hat and bolo.
Yeah, you know? it was a blast until it wasn't, which is the standard operating procedure of book 2.
That's the MO.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. I like really enjoyed the actual drive, you know, herding aspect of it.
Yeah, the mechanics were
pretty
fun.
You know,
it was fun seeing talking about until it wasn't seeing Vincent try and get up that wall.
Bruh. Oh no!
Oh,
Or
well,
trying
we-
to save that fucking Defrix because John wasn't aware
That's
that
what
this
I'm
was
saying,
actually a
before we even
trap.
got to the canyon,
yeah.
we were in the damn pit. That was brutal.
That
dude.
was so
That
fucking
was a
brutal.
brutal trap.
I was
Yeah, I didn't pick
So-
up that it was a fucking trap. So it was just
worthless
Ugh.
in that fight.
Well, it was like actually frustrating to play. Like not just like in character, but like it got into the muck for real.
Yeah.
Like where we were just like,
literally,
dude,
yeah.
this just all sucks.
Yeah.
Like what can we do? You know, we lost our hope pretty quick in that. You know what I mean? And that's like an interesting thing that happens sometimes. Like you talk yourself into failure.
Yep.
You know, like you see all these things and it seems so hopeless and like, oh, we can't do this. It's TPK. This is it. Wipe it. That's where the wipe it like meme comes from, right? Like just wipe it. It's already fucked. You know, like
It's already scuffed.
and
Start
so,
over.
but it's like weird in a TTRPG where you can't just wipe it and start over. And
Yeah.
so you have to like play through it and you still have to find a way to like
Resolve it.
Yeah. And like it doesn't happen often, but at least with us, I don't think
No.
it did when we were playing Abomination Vaults for the first
Oh,
like 2
Jesus.
levels of
Yeah.
Abomination Vaults.
Yeah.
It was like
It's
every
like, I
week we
forgot
lose
what
every
we were
fight.
playing. Oh, yeah, it's a meat grinder. Okay, fine.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like outside of the episode, just those types of sessions, you know, can be tough, right? It'd be tough to get through when you've convinced yourself that you can't win. You know, we talked about that early on in APA in one of our intros. Josh did like a little bit of that. Do you still think is it easy for you to follow that advice of just taking a breath and just rolling through it? Do you think that is actually applicable when that kind of thing happens?
It's easier some days than others.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of
How
like
work went that day.
yeah, there's a lot of real world stuff that goes into where if you're going to, you know, sit down and play a game for fun and it ends up not being, it can be really tough. You know, but
Well, it's just like when the dice are working against you too. Like none
Yeah.
of us could roll for anything, and only 2 of us could actually do anything that was like effective, and everybody else was just like trying to help. So they're like rolling to aid. Okay, I aid. Well, I'm sorry guys, I rolled a 2, so your aid didn't mean shit. You know, like
yeah, it can be tough. It can be real tough.
Yeah,
Vincent-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say
You go.
Vincent literally is trying to keep his head above water. You know, so
yeah.
it's a struggle.
Yeah,
It's
Vincent
a
almost
fucking
drowned
struggle.
in the quicksand
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Yeah. My favorite part of the whole Defrex arc was when they started spontaneously combusting. On
Dude.
the
Yeah, what
ship.
the
Dude, that was like
Dude.
a what?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was like,
That was a gut punch.
well, at that point, like I felt like Tom Hanks in the Money Pit, like when the tub goes through the floor and he's just standing there and he's looking at it and he just starts laughing because it's like at this point, of course the Defrex just start
Yeah.
blowing up.
Why
This is
not?
just what happens to us now. You know, like total like maniacal. Like I will if I don't laugh like a crazy person,
I'm going
I
to
will
break.
I will. Yes, I'll break. Yeah.
So did we ever suss out?
Yeah, it was like that assassin was like had like shot some stuff into him. There was like some nanites in there or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually a little crazier than that, and I you know you can like interrogate him or something to get to the bottom of it, or a little bit. But here's the thing, he doesn't really even know. Basically, the way that it's set
we're
up.
talking about the noir assassin.
The noir assassin, right? He was extremely paranoid of shit like greys and reptoids and stuff like that. He's a professional assassin, but he's riddled with paranoia.
Okay.
And so Elaine Rysora promises him like a serum that will prevent his brain from being invaded by
Yep.
greys and reptoids and shit. And she snuck a bunch of these combustible nanites into this serum, hoping that it would spread and kill you all.
I'm gonna give you a literal tinfoil hat.
Wow.
You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, cool. The Defrex are exploding from nanites. It's like, it was epic. And it was like in that episode where we were trying to deal with it was crazy. You know, like we were like floating in a busted airlock.
0G for a while. In the cargo
and
hold.
like we Hestia saved the day in the last second, right? Like
I had to do like a 0G run to the airlock.
Well, not only that, I shot the gun
so cool.
to make
Get
myself
momentum.
float to where I could shut it down.
Yeah.
To me, it was Vincent only being able to move 20 feet every round, bro, and
What is
like
that,
being
slow and
so
steady?
far behind to get to every single like
man.
obstacle.
That whole scene where it's just like everybody runs, gets into action and runs down to the cargo bay, and I'm trailing behind, and they already take care of shit by the time I get to it, and they're already running back, and it's just like,
we're like meeting him in the hall going the opposite way.
We were lapping him, you know, like we would get to a thing and turn around and go to another thing while he was on his way to what we just finished. It was pretty comical.
It was just kind of like the trailing Cartman, like, fuck me.
Yeah, so I mean that was fun. Tia's coming in clutch at the end was really neat as well. Everybody kind of worked together to get all of your bays back in order and everything, and so I really liked the chaos that scenario injected.
Man, that really was a challenge for me personally, because like I started off the whole Defrex arc so excited, and then I ended it on a very exciting note and felt very proud of myself. But in the middle, I learned a valuable lesson about being, a mechanic with a drone. And I had reconfigured my drone to be the little piddly bullshit flying drone, because I was like, narratively, this will be cool on the cattle drive, but was completely ineffective in terms of combat. And so when we fought the assassin, like I got up there and my drone couldn't do anything, and I got myself knocked out while, Vincent's trying to climb the hill 20 times in a row. And I was like, I will never again make this humongous error in judgment. Not that I won't. I at the time was like, I will never use this style of drone again. But it's just, I threw together a build for just the story and not for the obvious inevitability that there would be a fight. What were you thinking?
You weren't.
It was weird. It was like, strong start, strong ending. Terrible for me in the middle. I was so frustrated because like I can't reconfigure the drone. Like,
dude, let me just read to you the 4 episodes that happened after herding Defrex. That's one episode. The fun herd is one episode. That's an hour and 4 minutes. So short one. The next ones are the tar pit, the canyon, Noir Assassin, and problems with the herd. Those are the next 4 episodes, 4 hours of play that we did of getting our asses stomped into the sand,
and with our
This
recording
is going to be an
schedule,
easy adventure.
for our recording schedule, that was the next month of us playing.
Yeah.
More than that,
No, 2 months.
because of we don't record LF as much.
Yeah, so it was the next month and a half ish, maybe.
Yeah.
It was a
It was
while.
It was brutal.
That we were just like in that fucking like funk, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Hey, this was coming right off of the medicine one, right?
Yeah.
So, but we get through it, and like we repair our ship, and we had that was another one of those good somewhere when what we were talking about, the crew development that happened. Some of that happened on the next episode, and then we went back to the barn and fought a Stridermander. You remember we got to fight a Stridermander?
Yeah.
That was a fun
that
fight.
might as well happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we do the ghost ship, which it was one of my favorite jobs that we did. The ghost ship was super cool.
Yeah,
it was a very fun
I loved
episode.
it. I know it was. I believe it was kind of divisive. I don't know that all of us loved it, but
I mean,
I think it was very impactful as an episode and was really
Who didn't
unique.
like it? I thought it was unanimously. I thought we all enjoyed it.
No,
John?
John didn't like it.
Are you standing on your heel for this?
Yeah.
No, I
this
just felt that
Phil?
we just kind of memed what could have been like actually a more serious encounter, but
Oh, well, that's standard issue.
right.
dude.
That's
He
what I was-
says after memeing the boss of this book as hard as we've ever memed any boss ever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I can
Well-
have
Well, I learned.
an opinion at one point that I no longer agree with, so
Yeah.
I do.
I don't remember memeing that time. I thought we were kind of like genuinely nervous about what was on the ship, right?
it's like
I had
It's
that
like there was
spooky vibe.
A lot of
demon like shit and like
What? There was that robot. I think you meaned on the robot
Oh,
pretty
probably
hard. The
definitely.
security
Remember.
drone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that one definitely did not turn out the way you all expected it to when you
No, it
walked
didn't.
into it.
No.
It didn't.
Yeah.
And it had meaningful development for both Hestia and it was Vincent, right? I mean Gadret.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys like connect with the spirit?
I mean, I certainly did.
I don't know. I thought that I really enjoyed that
wait,
job.
I thought that was
the
Morgan.
Yeah. Wasn't
Pretty
it?
sure it was not Gadget.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
I don't
Roland
think
and
it was
Morgan
Gadget
had,
either.
had another
'Cause
scene there that was in the.
It was like
at the ship.
empathy kind of communication. I, mean, I may be
Yeah, but
misremembering that.
but the spirit thanked the two people that worked on getting the drift engine working again. And that was definitely Hestia, and I think it was Gadrick, and like the spirit like thanked them
Yeah.
particularly for like freeing them. You Morgan was definitely the one that like initiated the conversation and like found out that this ghost was haunting because of the drift, and they needed to go back to the drift, to be freed.
Yeah, well, Hestia kind of took the lead on like needing to do this, but it for me it was very much a like I need support, and like I believe it was Gadrick and Vincent both like that aided and helped with engineering, checks and stuff to get this done after a plea from Hestia,
Yeah.
That was in February of this year.
I remember. You know why I remember that?
Why?
Because I was having to drive up to North Mississippi for work when that episode came out, and I was listening to it in the car on the way. Specifically, the Ghost Ship episode. So that I don't know. I have the timeline of that one so secured.
It's really funny, actually, John, that you mentioned that this is the episode where you felt like we memed too hard, because the entire next arc was like when we fully committed into being a little memey as a cast, like because the next arc is the Die Works, where we get our mission. Okay, so that was kind of just like an exposition one, but then like Sonic Future, we clowned on that music shop. Hard.
See, it's funny. I remember talking with John during this stretch, and John really being I hesitate to say upset, but like irritated with how the Ghost Ship thing went down. And I don't know necessarily that it was like that you said it was like memeing, but just that you felt like there was more tension that could have been in that scene. Like it should have been spookier, and it wasn't. It was like your real
there should
hang
have,
up.
Yeah, I felt like there should have been like some desolation to it. I mean, I'm not expecting like dead space, but as far as like you're mentioning a haunting in a fucking derelict spaceship, and that's that. I mean, basically, I was going off of the trope, if you will,
Right. I mean, I remember disagreeing with you, but also being like, I get what you're saying. Like, this should have been terrifying.
But it's like so hard. You know how much work it took me over 100 episodes of Signal Screams to be scary? Like, to do it in an hour is extremely difficult because you have to build the tension. You know what I mean? And like, they was there. The setting he described it with blood on the walls, and we fought some like ghost dead. And when the thing came out, it was
I
like
have
screaming
nothing
at
wrong
us.
with his expositions at all. Like,
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, outside of that, you would. I think if you really wanted to make it scary, you'd have to make it like a 3-episode arc because you'd have to like dig into the shadowy, quiet places first. That's how you make it scary.
Yeah.
And we just didn't. I mean, I don't think Zach and his pacing is going to take a side job and make it.
Yeah, probably not.
Three
I
episodes.
did the best I could with the time that I was
Right.
allotted.
No.
on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. No.
With the time that I allotted myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
to do that.
We could deviate and dig in on that, but like we just didn't, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, and I think that like, that's also at this point, we just needed to like be able to laugh at our circumstances rather than take them so seriously because it was getting so frustrating with like all the losses that we were taking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like we definitely kind of just Guardians of the Galaxy our way through for the rest of this book from that point on, you know, like because we did the music store and then we memed we didn't I'll stop saying meme, but we like kind of
We're irreverent.
irreverent during the clam fight.
Oh yeah,
The giant clam fight,
dude.
you know, like, and then the, discovering Agavana, and then we had a whole episode about being broke and kind of got back into it. And then it culminates with Goofy.
Yeah.
Being introduced to Goofy.
Oh,
come on.
God, Lindell.
That's a low hanging right there when it's fucking Goofy.
Lindell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Right.
mean,
So like,
Lando's
it's
just like, please mean me.
I just feel like our tone shifted in order for us to like not be bitching about how hard it was all the time.
Almost.
That's a good point.
It serves
But
as a
also
reprieve.
that's-
Absolutely.
That's there's some truth in that in reality as well, though. When you're in difficult times for a long time, eventually you just like you were talking about in it was the Tom Hanks movie you referenced earlier,
Money Pit.
Yeah.
Money Pit. At some point, things are just so tough and so shit for so long that you
laugh.
can't help but find the humor in it.
Right.
It becomes absurd, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, like the thing with, and this is like outside of like the adventure itself, but the thing with podcasting, especially as long as we have, is like a lot of that stuff gets dictated not only by the adventure itself, right? Like the things that you're responding to in the narrative of the adventure, but also like people are going through different seasons of their life where like
Right.
there are times where it's hard for weeks at a time for each of us as individuals to like get into that harder like role play headspace, and where there's a certain level of like autopilot, or like I'm just here to like play the game, and like your level of being able to like dig in really hard is
Engagement
on a spectrum.
varies.
Like it fluctuates.
Yeah.
and
Engagement
that's
varies.
just
I get it.
part of it. Now, I hated the music shop. I won't lie. We memed the shit
We
and
did,
fumbled
dude.
through that whole interaction. I think it was within a few weeks that we did those, and I remember me and John talking about the ghost ship, and me kind of being like, "No, man, like I think it was good," and then the exact opposite happening with.
that's what I'm saying. Like that was the turning point to where we started being irreverent,
Yeah.
like in a real lenient way,
Yeah, it was very much a coping mechanism, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, interesting.
I'm
Before we move on, speaking of NPCs,
right.
I had to do a lot of what I think are goofy ass NPCs in this book.
Yep, you did.
Primarily the goblins.
Well, and Carm,
Yeah.
Carm, Lindell.
Yeah.
Well, and even
Scarlet Niz
yeah,
is goofy
yes.
as fuck as well, and And so I've about reached the upper limit of the variety of goofy ass voices that I can do. So it's all downhill from here, you know.
You just have to reuse some of them, man. Like
Yeah,
that's the secret.
yeah.
You just reuse them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think there's no way to ask this without it sounding loaded. So I'm going to say that I think you choosing to make Lyndall be so goofy kind of made us not take him seriously at all and set us down the path of not understanding COM 93 from the jump, because we didn't take him seriously. Like I just wonder if he had been like a more like imposing presence, if we would have felt more compelled to like treat him as somebody that we needed to free.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
It wasn't just Lyndall that I was like, the whole kind of premise of the calm is still a little confusing to me. Like, it seems so around the world to, you know, take 5 steps kind of situation. Like, the Lyndall making him goofy, yeah, that didn't help. But overall, I was just like a little confused by some of the things that occurred there.
With regard to what? Like, specifically, you know?
Just the whole villain
premise?
plan. Yeah. Like, why make all of this?
Well, they didn't make all of that. That's the thing. The calm, like, Tranquility as a prison is, I mean, you're talking about Marixa here.
No, that exists. Yes, no. But
Right.
like, to take all of these people to go in this roundabout way to round up everybody just to, I was confused. It felt a little like
why the body snatching?
yeah, basically. Like, why not just
Literally, that was just her way of trying to forcibly extract any information that she thought that you all had shared with all of these people. It's literally that simple. It's literally, that's it.
okay?
She kidnapped all of these people because she was under the belief that you
why-
had spilled the beans to them.
I just don't think she
Why
was very
keep-
smart.
Why keep them on COM 93 living this like fake awareness? You know, that like, why continue the effort of like keeping their brains scrubbed and like feeding them and
Well, I mean, you know, that goes beyond the scope of this adventure.
No,
for one.
I know, of course. Like, I'm just saying, I think that that's like some of the what
Led to
just
some
was
of the
hard to-
memery. Like,
yeah, it was like
because
hard to make it like to swallow it, because it's like, all right, this if I got this straight, the villain took over a piece of a prison, not even the whole prison, just one part of the prison, got rid of all the prisoners that were there, replaced them with all of our friends to find out what we know and if we told them anything, you know, and then use Lyndall to lure us to this place to find out what we know. You know, like, it just seemed like too many steps. So all of our brains were like, okay, whatever. Like,
So
this is extortion
to
with
be
extra
clear-
steps.
to be clear, as you know, as exists in STF canon, she did not get Lyndall to lure you there. She took Lyndall because you had an interaction with Lyndall, right? And she's paranoid. D9 fed you Lyndall's location in order to get you to go and do the thing. You know, she didn't expect for you to show up on COM 93. That's what I mean. The place is not like, you know, it. When you arrived, you didn't receive any resistance or anything because she didn't know that you were there at first. It wasn't until you were on cams and stuff that she even realized, like, oh shit, like, you know.
Oh, see, that I've just like fully misunderstood that whole premise. I thought like Lyndall was supposed to be a lure and like all of the that's why one of the reasons why I was like, this seems very convoluted. But that could be my my misunderstanding the situation.
Part of taking over Tranquility was also to have to test Hellfire Toxin, right? To develop and test Hellfire Toxin.
So I think it's just like one of those things where, you've even said it kind of like when we were recording these episodes, is that you have this information, but there's no good way to deliver it to the players. And I do think that happens in adventures sometimes, and that you get as the GM all the context, but the players are just like experiencing
what they're given,
the plan, whatever that may be. And given that that it was layered with two very secretive organizations, right? So like we also had no idea that D9 had been intervening on our behalf the whole time while we were on the island, right? And so like once we figure out that the reason why Renovia, that's her name, right? Renovia?
Yeah.
Didn't come and get us first is because she couldn't, because D9 was keeping us hidden from her. And so then she had to go to the people that we talked to, right?
Yeah.
And like, I because of that, because you have these two like high level organizations that are way beyond the scope of what our characters know or even care about. Like once it became revealed that it was that big of a web of conspiracy, we shut down on like really caring what the motivations were. It was like, we're just gonna kill you now. Sorry. We're done with this. We're gonna shoot you, and it's okay.
You know what I would do differently if I could rerun that again is I probably would have done like what you did in I guess book 3 of Aeon Throne, and do some kind of flash sideways or something to a villain POV. Yeah. To give you something
to give
there.
the players some context.
Yeah, totally. I would recommend that to all GMs. Is don't be afraid to do a cutscene.
Yeah.
Well, just like in all the adventures have that. All the adventures have like so much more written up about the motivations of the villain that's ever like expressed in any way to the players through what you guys go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, because the chances of actually getting a villain to unload that on the player naturally or organically are slim to none.
Yeah. And like players going to be players. And so as soon as the evil monologue starts, like, it's just like a reflex it's just like a reflex for players to like interrupt the Bond monologue.
Yeah.
That's like a trope of things that happen and it's a trope for a reason,
Yeah. But once we got into the fight, I think the fight was a lot of fun.
Like I think one of my biggest frustrations is that I had to wait through this person,
like 3 or 4 rounds. Yeah.
No. I'm not talking about that yet, but that was a frustration. But no, like I was frustrated that we had to talk so long to her before we just got into it, because I was like itching for the fight, because I knew it was going to be hard, and I really wanted to like go all in with Roland at this level, because we just only had a couple like small fights, really,
Yeah.
And so I wanted to like go full kitchen sink on a fight. So I was ready for that anyway, and that is by far my favorite combat that I've been a player in, for sure, dude. That was, it was so tense. Even when I was down, I was like in the action, like on, like leaned in and
I saw
talking
you
to you, like, like trying to like, well, we could do this, guys. We could do this,
Yeah.
It was, you did a great job too, because of, you had all these vanguards
and NPCs.
Yeah.
And the
So
NPCs,
Sure.
I in my notes, I have, you probably can't see this, But up here, I've got all the Talons and Renovate. I was tracking all of their entry points every round, and I had entropy. I had everything that they could do to get an entry point so that I wouldn't forget, like as a cheat sheet for myself. So yeah, I was definitely. I also have in my notes. I owe Heath 2 inspirations and owe Adam 1 inspiration. So don't let me forget that. By the way, I owe you some dirty 30s. But yeah. I mean, it was like it. It honestly, it was a blessing that they were all the same class.
Yeah, because you
just get in one mindset.
Yeah, you could just Vanguard hard. You know?
Yeah. But
and you did, like, you played hard. You know, there was it definitely didn't feel like that there was any like holding back. You know, and you dropping the big hits when it was like, you know, charging up, you know, full entropy hit on somebody that can't take it, you know, that's...
Yeah, and y'all were all scrunched up in that one corner of the room, man. It was so... The quarters were so tight. Yeah. It was an interesting tactical scenario.
I mean, it was basically a brawl.
Yeah.
It was a melee. Yeah, definitely.
Not for me. Mm-hmm. I got to the edges as quick as I could.
Right. Yeah. And set up your personal wombo combos.
Hestia definitely got up in point position for sure. And then there was just so many like good big turns, you know, like Vincent had that awesome clutch line attack.
Yeah.
And then
several line attacks with several inspirations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
Morgan had the big command.
Yes, dude, the command was the fucking game changer.
Gadrick, I feel like was just hitting hard a lot. Like, some, like,
he was
just
a
lot of good sneak attacks in there.
Yeah. And then Tia figured out how to do a wombo combo with herself with Mantis, and I think that was a big moment for Heath, being like, "Oh shit,
I did that."
Really opens up.
I don't have to like let somebody else take advantage of it. I can just take advantage of
the
this.
part of that was like when it happened. He's like, he was like going through the thing. He's like, okay, so now the next person that attacks this enemy is gonna get a bonus, you know. And he's like,
I was like, wait, that's Mantis.
He's like, I got it out. All right. He's like, okay, now Mantis, what I'm gonna do? Oh, I'm the next person. I just
it was the realization, dude. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, aside from that, like just getting to, I mean, I spent that entire fight giving people advantage and disadvantage. I mean,
it was really cool.
Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but like that makes a big difference. So like, it's the like it's what the character's built for narratively, and for that to be able to be expressed mechanically, like, felt really good to have. I mean, because we barely got through that fight, and without everybody having their big turns and firing on all cylinders and figuring some stuff out, like, it could have been a lot worse. Like, there could have been a death potentially.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used every resolve point that I had. I mean, I was at 0.
Tia was out of resolve. And then let's see, Roland got the first natural 30 of the Let Fly, I believe.
That's not true
as well.
No.
I've had one.
Yeah. Oh, you had one. Okay.
Yeah, it was very like nobody made a big deal about it. So
I guess it wasn't a huge turn in a combat, right?
Yeah. It was in a combat, and I rolled because I spent 2 D30s within that combat, and I rolled a natural 20 on a D30 and a natural 30, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And just like kept going, and I was like, "Well, this sucks."
You done with your turn,
yeah.
I mean, I remember it because it hurt.
Dude, rolling the natural 30 was so clutch because of my battle leader archetype. Like, to be able to trigger that on the turn that I was coming back up.
That you really needed some fucking stamina in the pocket. Like, definitely.
Like I came up with 1 HP and then crit and was able to stack 10 stamina.
Cinematic,
and like come up and get the kill.
Right.
Yeah. It was a crit,
it's such a, like, it was a mechanical premise or whatever that allowed like a huge narrative moment. Those are always like some of the best, really I think, in TTRPGs is when the mechanics and the narrative are married and just like working in tandem so efficiently or whatever to create a big moment for a player or something, and that was certainly one of them.
Absolutely.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good fight.
Yeah. What do y'all think about Dizzy being under the Mind Siphon? I know that we resolved that very quickly.
Yeah.
So we rolled
Because
into
y'all went
that.
straight to. Hang on, let me cook one sec
Go.
here, Josh. Let me.
Go for it.
Y'all rolled into that, and went immediately to attempting diplomacy checks,
yeah.
and that's the only way that you could. I mean, otherwise it's fisticuffs until one of you's knocked out.
Well,
you know?
I begged for it, you know,
Yeah,
like begged for
Yeah,
it and
but-
spent my last resolve to like help out, you know, like
Yeah.
we needed to like for Hestia it was like we can't fight this person. This
I
is
don't
my
think
friend,
any one
you
of
know.
us, none of us, like, I don't think there was one person in the party who was about to draw a blade on.
All right,
My
let's
diplomacy
kill
is
Dizzy now.
terrible, and I was ready
You know,
to,
that's
to,
the
to
interest.
argue.
That's the interesting thing about your relationship with the Wintermorn crew is they are in a lot of ways your mirror, and they react to what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, theoretically, this could have been a scenario where you were at odds with the Wintermorn the whole way leading up to this,
Nemesis.
and you're maybe reluctantly working together with Nemelith and Jinx.
Or our Dark
And
Universe inverse characters where we're just bad guys and like we're taking out the competition, you know?
Yeah, and you could have, I mean, think about it. You could have been a scenario where Dizzy's drawing on you. You're hostile, essentially, with the loosest truce. And now you find yourselves maybe in a combat where you're up against the Wintermorn crew
Why are trying to
versus
After
your
that,
crew.
Yeah.
After that,
After that fight with Renovite.
Right,
yeah,
right.
fuck that.
So, you know, I mean, it could have gone a lot differently, but being the kind of crew that you are, you went straight for the diplomacy. But so,
Well, and also,
so what
like,
I'm curious about,
we had befriended Dizzy, so like there was just
Right.
no other option, you know, like in our minds.
was there any moment, however fleeting of time, where you were like, oh fuck, you know, where it was just like a stomach drop type thing?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Like no, I did not believe that even though we were going to go for diplomacy, that it was a guarantee to be able to do it. But that was just what we were going to do. But like as soon as we saw Dizzy, my stomach dropped. I think we all gasped. We were all
yeah.
oh, fuck, no, dude. Like, are you
Yeah.
serious? You know,
Yeah.
like, and then initiative is rolled, and it's like, we're going to have to run with a fucking crazy Dizzy shooting at our backs on the way out, you know?
Back to the ship.
Yeah, because, like, to be frank, we could not have sustained a fight against the Wintermorn crew. You know, like, we were pretty tapped out.
I would have died.
Yeah. You know, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it felt like a really bad situation, and it was like very compressed, and it happened quick, and it was like this flash in the pan of like, you know, despair, and whew, thank God,
Yeah.
you know, like,
I think it's one of those times where doing the right thing does pay off.
mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not some kind of delayed gratification. It's immediate. Like if you can successfully, you know, make a case or you know, give me something in RP that I can then, you know, use that as the context for the die roll, then it's over with.
Is
you know,
diplomacy written in as an option in the AP?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You could have diplomacy, bluff, or intimidate.
Gotcha.
Any of the charisma skills. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been that's the only way to de-escalate.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought it was like, it just made that it's such a crucial part of the whole final episode too, even as quick as it is, like, because the fight is like epic and like we finish it and you're like, okay, I got a breath. And then you don't, then you lose your breath right after that, which, you know, then leads into the big drop of the CSV where we're now like bated breath and our heart's beating because what's going to happen? What is he going to
How
say?
is this going to turn
Yeah,
out?
what,
Attention,
you know, and
quick
the
release.
way that you like structured his whole speech to us is there was like, it oscillated, you know?
Yeah.
There was like
and that was intentional.
Well,
I'm glad that
obviously.
you noticed that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm glad that you noticed that.
Yeah, it was well written because there was like, at first I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, oh no. And then I was like, oh yeah, again, like to the point to where I did different music for each like
Shift.
phase
yeah.
of his speech to us because it went through a lot of different feels, you know, and it was, I I loved that episode so much. It was such a
Yeah,
banger.
I wanted
to
you
end
to
on, you know?
to not really know how it was going to turn out till right at the end. You know, like that was my goal with that. Is like, what the fuck's going to happen to us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, even as he's saying things that this sounds kind of good, but oh shit, oh there he goes. You know,
Right.
and to me that's the essence of the character.
Yeah,
right.
it was
And so,
great. Yeah.
So that was certainly interesting. I hate that I had to like put your backs up against the wall so definitively with it, as in like
I don't.
set the scene to the point where it's like you're. Well, I think narratively it needed to happen, but mechanically I always hate the idea of like.
Well, there wasn't really any
completely removing
mechanics
players.
involved, right? Like this was the. I mean, we had done the fight, and then we almost did another fight with one of our only friends in the universe. You know, like so, like at that point, we were happy to be like, okay, somebody else just take over. Yeah, just somebody take over. Like we can't do this anymore. Like, and that's what it really felt like. Is that like when we came out there and got surrounded, we were all. I felt just like. Giving into it, like, okay, this whatever's going to happen to us is going to happen to us.
Be
like,
quick.
We cannot fight anymore. We are
Right.
We're done. You know, like, which did set the scene for you to be able to actually deliver a quote unquote villain monologue in an uninterrupted way, and that was taken very seriously because, like, we were too tired to like interrupt you and too scared. Honestly,
I wanted to double down after I was like, okay, you're not going to respect this best government agent. I got you a best government agent here. You know,
It's like, I could kill you, but also good job. But don't ever do it again. But nice work.
You've cost me a fortune, but here's some money. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly. I feel like we've hashed out, you know, our immediate reactions to that episode privately. I think so thoroughly that like it feels like treading old ground, you know. But I'm really glad that you all came out of it enjoying that, because that was something that I really wanted to do.
I mean, it pumped me up for the whole. It like pumped me up for like the next book, and just like got me super excited about the show. It just like it was such a good cap and still so surprising, but like it was appropriate for this the ending for this part of the adventure, and we just all crushed it in that combat. I just felt so like in sync, you know, like I'm ready to take shit on. We were playing some Starfinder, motherfuckers.
Yeah, y'all were definitely on all cylinders in that combat, man. It was a lot of fun and dynamic and yeah, I think interesting. And sometimes it's you know, it's hard to do combat in a way that is fun to listen to sometimes. I think that's a tricky thing. That's the trickiest part of this whole fucking operation.
It really
that we
is,
do, man.
100%. That is the hardest part, to remember to stay like descriptive and in character, because you can easily get kind of like caught up in the mechanics and the tactics of it, you know, like especially if it's a tense fight, you know. But what's good is that I think we do a good job on all the like really important like narrative fights. I think where we struggle sometimes is the like
trash fights.
The filler fights, you know.
Yeah, and man, that's hard, you know. Like I'm to all the listeners out there. If we have a boring combat, sorry, man, it's tricky, you know. It's tough.
Try listening to it at 0.5x speed. It'll be better. It works better. The really
so
sloggy when the really sloggy combat episodes happen, listen to them at half speed, and it'll be so much better.
Yeah. but yeah, I mean, that's book 2.
Yeah. It was a long one,
book
dude.
2. Yeah.
It
was. Yeah, I mean, Leo gave us a lot to work with on that, you know, and just a shout out to him. I appreciate it. He worked with me privately.
Throughout the whole thing.
Throughout the whole thing. And his insights and everything really helped me bring this book to life, I think. And so I'm very grateful for that. And it was really good to have him on that. I feel like in a very strange position that I feel like so few GMs
that doesn't
get to ever be in,
Yeah.
which is where you and the author of the book can talk about that. I mean, that's again, there's I said it in our thread or whatever, but there's no more valuable resource than the author of the book that you're running.
Absolutely.
So that was really cool. That was a lot of fun.
If only the showrunners of Game of Thrones had taken that advice.
What could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we're hitting about 2 hours here. So
yeah, we in there. We talking.
We talking.
I think we need to wrap this up, Heath, if you don't mind me taking a second
absolutely fine. I'm eager to see what's coming after, now that we're done with book 2, going into book 3.
Now that we're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you're filthy
I'm sure
rich,
it will be taken away in an
all
episode
your problems
or 2.
are solved.
It's counterfeit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it starts next episode and it's like, oh, you're under arrest because this is all counterfeit money, like,
I'm gonna head out.
I will not
we're going to rage quit this game.
I can't do it. No, but I am very much
We're
looking
going
forward
to
to
take
book
these
3.
characters and you're going to run a new adventure for us. That's what's going to happen.
We're just gonna leave
Get
this
the hell out
reality.
of Fly for Your Die. Welcome to Threefold Conspiracy.
That can't be the one you take us into. No, let us just do some like Dawn of Flame action where we get to just like
just do cool shit.
Yeah, do cool shit.
Yeah. Cave dive into the sun or whatever.
I would
pretty sure
rather
that's
eat
canonically
myself
a
into
thing
the
they
sun than have another bad job.
But I am. I'm very excited about book 3. I really like the book 3, especially the conclusion of it and how it coalesces and everything is just so fucking cool for me. I'm very, very excited. Again, I can't wait to take you all through it. I hope that it takes us less than a year and 3 months or whatever to finish, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's different. It's different than book 2, that's for sure.
Okay.
Tune into book
I'm glad
3.
to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
It's
because I
going to be
didn't enjoy book 2.
It's going to be a change of pace.
Yeah, just a change of pace would be nice. And I do feel like it really does feel like books 1 and 2 feel like a complete thing together, you know, and like it does feel like we hit a significant change. Like I feel like
Sure.
we're in the second act of this adventure,
And now we can go start our own circus, traveling circus.
Yep.
And we're not just delivery drivers.
Okay, well, I'm quitting and running a different adventure pace. If that's what you want to do.
Well, we have found the boundaries with which we need to operate within. Like,
Yeah,
we
got
found the
it.
two ends. Okay.
Sounds like we should just keep playing
would
Fly
fit
Free or
the
Yes.
Die.
theme.
Yeah.
It'd still be broke as hell.
But now you're carnies, man. Is that really?
Yeah, is that really a level up?
It seems more like a lateral move to me.
It's a lateral.
It is, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so please join us for book 3 and beyond of the Fly Free or Die adventure path. Live and Let Fly here on.
Will you tell us the name of book 3?
Yeah, I will. It is called Professional Courtesy.
Professional
Oh,
courtesy.
boy.
Professional courtesy.
I don't know.
That's a
man.
lot.
I don't think how that could be interpreted in any way, but good.
Right.
It could go a
I'm
lot of
like,
ways,
how-
couldn't it?
That
My
sounds
first
like a
thought is
lie.
like, how corporate is this about to get?
Yeah.
That's a professional courtesy.
Don't like it.
You will find out what the professional courtesy is very early on. I promise you that.
I feel like one section of that book is going to be, as per my last email. Like,
That's
yeah,
Tarika.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this Tom Talk. It's the first Live and Let Fly Tom Talks. I don't know. Will it be the last? Who knows?
who's to say? The
Depends.
world is
Probably
our
not.
I guess it
oyster.
depends on if people like it or not. You know.
Well, it just depends on what adventure path we pivot to.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
True.
when we do it. So
Yeah.
Welcome to Carney Talks.
yeah.
Heath, you gonna sit us out?
Well, I was sorry. I'm like tired.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's why you need to say goodnight now.
I'm trying to. No, it has been a great adventure thus far, though challenging, which I view as a good thing personally, even if it doesn't feel like that in the moment. So thanks, Zach, for running us through this.
Thank you all. Yeah, I mean, y'all make the like. I'm doing this for you. You know.
Well, we're doing it for you.
Well, right. So thank you.
Yeah, really?
Doctor.
Thank you for doing this for us, Zach.
Doctor.
I'm not doing it for you.
I didn't think so, bro. I didn't expect you to, man.
It's for me.
It's for me, baby.
Spoiler alert. It's for me.
I get it.
I'm just going to be real for a second.
I'm gonna let you know.
Either way, thank all of you for all that you do. I mean, this party has meant a lot and has been through a lot, and this adventure provides a unique way for that sort of growth process to go about. So it's awesome, and I'm interested to see how those relationships continue to develop. But we won't know until we do some more of the adventures. So thanks everybody for being here. Thank you, listeners, as always, for being listeners of our many projects. And we will see you.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.
Wow, that was nice in the round. We'll see
Good,
you.
yeah, that was nice.
Almost like we
If you're
do this
gonna-
all the time.
Well,
or
no,
something.
like we always try to do it together, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna fuck up, at least fuck
I just
up
took it
nicely.
away. I just said, no, I'm too tired.